Hello everyone, Teacher Beto here. One more time, what's up? Are you okay? I hope so. So, as I told you before, in our last online class, we are going to start a series of reviews. So our classes are going to be a little bit different. We're going to work much more on exercising solving than on theory because this is a review. So we have studied that before, and now we're going to focus much more on doing exercises together, right? And then you're going to uh, review the grammar based on these exercises. But I'm going to uh, give a little bit of explanation before we start doing the exercises. Then we go to see, we're going to see how to solve, how to do these exercises. Okay, so let's start with our review. Yeah. Okay, let's review. The first thing that we're going to review talking about the present tenses is the simple present, or as you prefer, present simple. It's the same, just a different name for the same thing. So don't worry. All right. So here are some examples of sentences in the present simple tense. So I hope you can remember the rules of the present simple. We have here 5 examples. I would like you to pay attention to them because you're going to see uh, some particularities of the present simple. All right, the first one we have the sun rises in the east and sets in the in the west. All right, so here we can see that we have an example with the third person, so that's why we have the s at the end of the verbs. In the second, we have I as the subject of this sentence. So I always get up at 7 a.m. Notice that we have a very special word here that is always. Always is an adverb of a frequency, and every time we have an adverb of a frequency, you can bet that we are talking about the present simple. So number 3, we have she doesn't go to school on weekends. Of course, nobody goes to school on weekends except on Saturdays in the morning to take some tests, right, guys? Okay, and we have here a negative sentence. So that's why we have the presence of the auxiliary do. In this case, it does because we have the third person. She doesn't go to school on weekends. Number 4, we have a question. So we also have the presence of the auxiliary. So just recalling you. So we are going to use the auxiliary verb do and does for the third person. When we are talking about negative sentences, therefore, you're going to have don't or doesn't. And we're going to use do or does also in questions. Don't forget about that. And in a question, the auxiliary verb goes before the subject of the sentence, like in here. What do you like to eat for breakfast? What do you like to eat for breakfast? So notice that do is before you. You is the subject of the sentence. And in the previous example, we have she doesn't. Okay, so the auxiliary after the subject, she. And the last example we have here, I study English every day. Every day is another word that I want you to pay attention because we're talking about not only adverbs of a frequency, but also we're talking about adverbial expressions every day. It means It's part of a routine, right? So let's take a look at the for present simple. So how to make this sentence? We just needed to have the verb there, right? So subject, verb, plus the complement. For example, I love pizza. Subject, I. Love, the verb. And pizza, the complement. But for the third person, we're going to have a change in the verb, right? So we're going to change the verb a little bit, in which we have to include the S. The general rule is that we have to include the S, but there are other two special occasions in which we are going to add not only S, but ES for some verbs, the verbs ending in X, SH, CH, and S, right? So, of course, we cannot forget about the verbs ending in O. For example, go, do, all right? For these verbs, we're going to include not only S, but ES. Here we have an example. Watch, watches. And we also have the case of IES. For example, I stud, she studies, right? So, and we're going to have these addition of S or ES or IES when you're talking about the third person. What is the third person? When we're talking about he, she, it. Remember that. All right, and what is it used for? First, we're going to talk about a present situation. Yes, something that is related to the present. For example, I live in Brazil. This is my present situation. Okay, here you have an example. My cousin lives in Montreal. My cousin lives in Montreal. All right. Number two, for a general fact. The sun sets in the west. The sun sets in the west. It's a fact. You cannot change that. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. It's a fact. It's science. You can't change that. Although there are some people who don't believe in science, like it's just a code. Believe in scientists, guys. Please. All right, and here we have the third aspect, that is when we are talking about habits or routine. If something is part of your life, if it's something that you do frequently or you never do, it's part of your routine too, right? So we watch TV every day. It's one of our favorite pastimes. So it's part of your life, it's part of your routine. If you say, I go to school every day, so this is your routine, right? So let's take a look at some, right? Then we can see the present continuous too. So we're going to work today basically on these two verb tenses related to the present. Present simple and present continuous. Here we have some sentences, and I also hope you remember these rules, right? The first one is here. She's not listening to me now, right? So something that is related to the moment, exactly at this moment, right? Now. Pay attention to this word, right? Every time that you find in a sentence now, at the moment, right now, nowadays, you can have a very clear idea that we are talking about the present continuous tense. So she's not listening to me now. She's reading her favorite book. Here's another example of a present continuous. What is she doing? She's reading her favorite book right now. I live in the city. I live in the city, but I'm spending this month at my aunt's in the country. So we're talking about something that is temporary, right? Not something that is a fact, for example. The first one is here, right? I live in the city, but I'm spending this month at my aunt's in the country. Jason is working on Saturday. Jason is working on Saturday. He can't come to the party. He can't come to the party. So if he is working on Saturday, I'm talking about something that is happening uh, at a moment, right? In a specific moment. So he's going to be working on Saturday. So he's working on Saturday. And the fourth example we have here, a question, right? What are you doing? Notice that the present continuous is formed by verb to be plus the verb in the ing form, the main verb in the ing form. And in the negative and in the affirmative, the verb to be comes close to the main verb in the ing form. But in questions, the verb to be goes before the subject, like in this example. What are you doing? Okay, let's see the rules for present continuous. How to make this tense? So we're going to use be plus the verb, the main verb in the ing form. Remember that we are going to use the am, is, are accordingly to the subject. Subject, okay? So I am, he, she, it, is, we, they, you, are. Remember that, right? So I am watching, she is watching, you are watching. What is used for? So when we're talking about an ongoing action, an action that is in progress. That's why the present continuous can also be called as present progressive or present continuous. You choose. It has two names, just that. All right. So, and one example for an ongoing action is I'm writing an essay now. So I'm talking about something that is happening at this moment, that is in progress at this moment. Okay. And in the second case, we have a temporary activity. Remember the first example that I said, so I live in the city, but I'm spending this month at my aunt's in the country. So I'm talking about a temporary activity, a temporary action going on for a period of time. So here, number two, he's taking it easy nowadays. He's living with his aunt in London now. All right, so let's practice. So here we have some sentences in which you can see uh, if you're going to use a present simple or present continuous. So you have to fill in the gap with the appropriate tense of the verbs. The example is here. We often wear trainers, but today we are wearing shoes. So here are two words that are going to help you to identify what's the verb tense you're going to use. Often, adverb of frequency. Frequency, often. Remember the adverbs of frequency? Always, sometimes, almost never, never, hardly ever, often, frequently. Okay, so we often wear trainers, but today is the second word I was talking about. Today, I'm talking about something that is happening today. So it gives you an idea of something that is in progress. All right. So, but today we are wearing shoes. On Saturday, Paul usually another adverb of a frequency, usually. So therefore, we know that we are going to use the present simple. Paul usually goes swimming. Remember the third person? Yes, goes. Ending in O, yes. But today, look today again. So present continuous. Today he's going ice skating. He's going ice skating. Number two, right now, Anna, blah, 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 tennis on Saturday. So look here, right now. Right now, it means that is at this moment, guys. So present continuous. Right now, Anna is playing tennis, but she often look the frequency again. So, but she often plays. Third person include the S. Plays tennis on Fridays. Number three, although now, look now. Although now I'm writing a letter, I always, look, always, add the verb of a frequency, present simple. So I always write emails. Number four, mom never blah 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 books. Never. Add the verb of a frequency. So mom never reads books. But now, can you see now? Now, so present continuous. But now she's reading a fantasy book. Number five, on weekdays, so it gives me an idea of a routine on weekdays, nos dias da semana, from Monday to Friday. So on weekdays, Peter blah 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 his homework at home. So what can he do with his homework? He does, of course. So on weekdays, Peter does his homework at home. But right now, again, so right now gives me the idea of present continuous. Right now, he's doing it. He's doing it at the library. So he usually does his homework at home, but right now he's doing it at the library. All right, so let's see examples here in order to help you. We're going to think about this story. Use the simple present and present progressive. Remember I told you about present continuous or present progressive? The same. Today, blah, 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 Bet's birthday. Although I have today here, but I cannot use the present continuous for this because we never can say like hoje está sendo o aniversário de alguém. No, today is someone's birthday. Hoje é o aniversário de alguém, right? So today is Betty's birthday. Betty, it's a fact. A person loves something or doesn't love something. So Bet loves birthdays. All right. Number three, she blah 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 always very excited and blah 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 very early. So always here gives you the idea what you have to do. So present simple for both. She is always very excited and wakes up very early. So at 6 o'clock in the morning, Bet hears a noise. Nice. So number five, she blah 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 and blah 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 into the sitting room. So we have here a sequence. So we're going to use a simple present to tell this story. So she gets up and goes into the sitting room. In number six, she asks a question. So what's happening? So I'm asking about something that is going on right now. So I'm going to use it present continuous because I want to know what is happening now. So what is going on? What's going on? What's going on? We are giving class. Okay. And number 7, look. This is a tip, guys, very important. If you see a sentence in a test, in an exercise, and you see look, listen. When I say look, listen, silence, I'm asking or I'm talking about something that is happening right now, right? I want to say silence every day. No, right? So I don't say look. You have to look at this moment. So I'm talking about present continuous, an action that is in progress. All right, so look, Bet's cat Carlos is sitting on the table and he is playing with Betty's present. Got it? All right, let's see some exercises, some more examples. We have to put the verb, into the correct tenses. Simple present or present continuous. Remember I talked about look? So look, he is leaving the house. He is leaving the house. Why not present simple? Because I'm talking about something that is happening now, an action in progress. So we have to use a present continuous. So quiet, please. If I ask for silence, I ask you to be quiet. I'm asking you to be quiet right now. So it's something related to the moment that we are talking. So present continuous. Psst, quiet. I'm writing a test. Of course. She usually blah 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 to school. We have here, guys, usually. Usually is one of those adverbs of frequency that I mentioned before. So usually present simple because we are talking about a routine. She usually walks to school. Okay. Number 4. But look, I want you to look right now. So probably there is something going on, right? So present continuous. So, but look, today, look here, today she is going by bike. Number 5, every Sunday, routine, it's a habit. Todo domingo, every Sunday, we go to see to see my grandparents. All right, so every Sunday we go to see my grandparents. Number 6, he often, he often. Now we have the verb go to the movies. He often, this often here gives an idea of habit, of routine. So he often goes. Remember, third person. ES for verbs that end in O. So number 7, we blah 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 monopoly at the moment. At the moment, right now. So we are playing. We are playing. Remember, if you have at the moment, now, right now, it gives you an idea of present continuous. We are playing Monopoly at the moment. Number 8, the child seldom blah blah blah. Seldom means rarely, right? Rarely. So the child rarely or seldom cries. He is an example of a verb ending in Y and preceded by R. So with these verbs such as fly, cry, study, we're going to use the IES and we're going to drop out the Y. Remember that, okay? So what are the 3 rules for the third person in the simple present? First, add S. Second, ES. for each verbs ending in sh, ch, x, and s, and o. O, ch, sh, x, and s. Memorize this and you're going to do well. And the third rule is for the verbs that end in y, if there is a consonant before the y, so we're going to drop out the y and include I, E, S. All right? Number 9, I blah 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 anything at the moment. Look here, at the moment, present simple. Mm-mm. At the moment, present continuous. Good choice. All right, but it's a negative. The negative form of the present continuous is with the negative form of the verb to be plus ing of the verb, the main verb. So, I am not doing anything. I'm not doing anything at the moment. I'm not doing anything at the moment. And number 10, it's a question. Remember, I gave an example of a question in the first slides. All right, so blah, 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 he watched the news regularly, regularly. So I have an idea of a frequency of a routine, a habit of a person. So how do I form a question using the no? Huh? Using the auxiliary verb before the subject. So the question is going to be, does he watch the news regularly? Does he watch the news regularly? Notice that when I have a question, I don't change the verb because the auxiliary is going to change. Does, not do. The same for negatives. He doesn't watch the news regularly. So if does has already changed for the verb, I don't need to add s, es, or is in the main verb. All right? Because the basic form of the auxiliary is do. And we are using does because it's he, she, it. So in this case, we don't change the verb for negatives and questions. Okay? All right. Let's go to exercise in which we have to use the tense. Right? So when to use each tense? Number 1. Which tense do you have to use with the following signal words? Look, now, present simple or present continuous? Look, now, present continuous, of course. Which tense do you have to use with the following signal words? Often, seldom, never, always, every day, on Sundays. Present simple, routine, remember? Number 3, for actions happening at the moment of speaking, we use present continuous, of course. For actions set by a timetable or a schedule like a routine, for example. On Monday, I have history, English, and geography classes. So it's a schedule, right? So we use the present simple. And in a story for present actions happening one after another. Remember the example I gave about Betty's birthday? Remember Betty's birthday? She gets up and hears a noise, and she goes to the sitting room. Present simple. All right. I think that you can have an idea just to review these two very important present tenses, right? The simple present and the present continuous. And I think you did a good job. All right. So now you can have more practice, of course, if you access our online platform, right? On Go Beyond platform, you can access website. Here's the link, but it's very easy to find. Of course, you probably have used it before, so you don't need the link to. And I'd like to thank you very much for your attention and for watching this video. All right, there will be a series of exercises here on Que Mágico, so you are supposed to do them. Next class, we're going to continue talking about that and solving some problems, answer some exercises together. All right, see ya next class. Bye bye, guys.